I was at the gym earlier.
On a Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very light workout. Want to take a guess how many exercises I did?
I'm hoping you did more, but I'm going to assume you did three.
Three, two, one. It's the Shant and Ari podcast, you guys. Episode number 80. We're 80% there, Shant. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Feeling good, man. Glad to be back. It's been a little bit. We've been trying to find schedule. You went away. You're like, stop. You gave up on life. I thought you retired.
I'm
Now you're
only getting
back.
started, big guy.
So yeah, how's your trip, man? You went to where'd you go? Tell everyone. Everyone's been wanting to know why we haven't done any podcasts.
Well, we haven't been podcasting because we've had this massive schedule conflict where I've been sleeping at like 9 p.m. and 9 p.m. for you is like 6 p.m. and you're just getting out of work. And apparently I work too much. So we're just having a timing issue. It's nothing else.
Yeah, and then you're up at like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So we can't do a 5 a.m. podcast because that's like 2 a.m. here.
Yeah.
So
it's a massive timing conflict, and that's all it is. Adi didn't give up on life. He's actually been doing more, and we're speaking in third person now, so it's just everything's changed, you know? So no, everything's good in the hood. Lifting a lot more. I went to the gym this morning, did shoulders, 3 exercises I did. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the gym later on in this podcast. However, as far as my vacation was fantastic. Went over to Greece for about 2 weeks. Sako's still there. My parents are in France.
Is he are they all not coming back, or?
I mean, I don't mind if my parents stay there for a little bit longer, but I think for Sako's own sanity, he should probably get back to work instead of just living out his Greek dreams. You know, he's gonna come back depressed if he stays there any longer, bro. It's gonna be like going away to college and fucking coming back, the slap of reality. So super fired up to see Leo this morning before we hopped on this podcast.
Yeah, he wanted to say hi, man. Yeah, he wanted to say hi. He was it's been a while. He's like, I gotta talk to my cousin.
I saw some chest hair on him. He's growing of
he does have foot hair. So
shit.
He's definitely a Chinese. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. So what do you guys do with him in the morning? What's like the routine? What do you guys do as parents? I feel like you guys do a lot of cool stuff with Leo. What are you guys doing with him?
So now he's like started waking up at like 6:30. So it's kind of like, because before he's like 7:30, getting up perfect. So one of us gets up in the morning with him, feeds him his milk, plays with him a little bit. He runs around after Lucy, picks on her.
Does he have a rider?
No.
Like a horse?
Yeah, no. And then we feed him again. He has to, eat twice in the morning. Then he eats his breakfast. He drinks his milk. Then he eats his breakfast. And he's got like a gourmet breakfast, fucking eggs, bananas with cinnamon, blueberries, avocado, just like, all out.
It's so fancy.
Yeah. And then he eats on his own, like with his hands. And then like, as soon as he's done, he just starts throwing everything just like this. Just like, I'm done. It's like, instead of just saying I'm done, he just throws everything.
Yeah. Clean this up.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it, man. And then we took him to the mall yesterday. That lasted for like 25 minutes before he's like, fuck this is stupid. Just started crying. Not crying, but just complaining.
Did he get any phone numbers? Pick like anything.
I swear, he's always smiling at girls and looking at girls. Like I'll be at Trader Joe's with him. He's sitting on the cart, right? Walking around, like a girl walks by, he's like smiling at her, and he goes like he turns all the way around and he's smiling at her.
He does a full rotation.
Yeah,
That
he's
little
like
kid.
staring, and then they smile at him. He like wait, like he's such a fucking flirt, man, with girls.
I love that kid so much, man. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about.
What's up with the gym? Tell me about the gym. You've been up at 5, which is you've been strong with that. It seems like that's not very typical of you because you used to be up till I think 5 a.m. and then you get up at 10.
I used to work till like wee hours of the morning, man. So that's been going pretty strong, bro. There's a lot of different habits that have been going very, very strong since like the new year, and I'm really proud of myself for not giving in to like oh, this is too hard or whatever. One of my biggest problems this year was weight gain. So I gained like 15 pounds this past year, man. And like carving it off has been really, really tough. But I realized that I wasn't making any major changes to be able to like lose the weight. Like, listen, I couldn't keep on holding on to the excuse of like, oh, I quit smoking. Like, you can't keep saying that to people about like why you gained 15 pounds, right? Like, it doesn't work
Like,
after a while.
buddy,
Like, all
it's
right,
been
bro,
a
lose
year.
it.
It's like, buddy, it's been a year. Like,
Cut the shit.
but
You know?
it's not like you're overweight or anything.
I mean, bro, listen, when you got a little bit of like a tummy, like, look, that's fat, bro. So like, I'm just trying now. You got to do extra shit. So now I have a really, really cool workout split where like for the past month, maybe a little bit more, I've been doing this like high intensity thing at this place called Ray Fit, which is local. It's in Belmont, and he has another location in Boston. Shout out to you, Ray. Really, really sick 1 hour sort of ish high intensity thing where you do weightlifting and like a crazy cardio. And like I picked out like the hardest cardio thing to do where like you have to climb like a ladder. Usually you burn around like 700 calories for the hour. I do that 3 times a week, and then I go to the gym 2 times a week. And then I've been seeing sort of like a plateau in my results. Come to find out that my form is all fucked up, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So now I went down this rabbit hole of thought where I'm like, dude, does it make sense to pay a trainer? And how much money does it make sense to pay them? And how much value I put on that? Because before I didn't. If you told me pay $150 for a trainer a month, I'd be like, that's way too much. Apparently people are paying like $1,000 for a trainer a month.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, for how long? You know, like kind of like questioning maybe it might be worth it. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? First of all, what are your thoughts on everything I just said about waking up at fucking 5 a.m. to do a 700 calorie high intensity thing?
I love it. So first of all, shout out to you for wearing your super Armenian t-shirt, Adidas with a gold chain. I mean, you're just representing Armenia right now.
I'm also wearing some
Adidas pants. Yeah. Okay. So you're super Armenian today. Really appreciate it. Representing the Armenians at the Olympics games. I see. That's what you're doing.
Official
that's like our second
Adidas
flag right there. That's our second flag, Adidas.
You know,
Adidas,
I got my
Puma,
track jacket upstairs.
Yeah, Adidas and Puma are the official sponsors of the Armenian Olympic team.
Gotta love it.
So do you fast? Do you fast before you work out, or are you eating before you go?
Good question. So I'm trying to do a 16 and 8, like a 16-hour fast.
Nice 8-hour window.
But sometimes like my anxiety kicks in, like, bro, you're about to go and like burn 700 calories. Maybe you should have like a handful of like something, maybe a fucking banana.
No.
Apparently you're okay. Like you're just letting your anxiety tell you you need to have something to eat. A lot of people just go fasted. I the last week have not been having anything before I go to class. But before, I was having like a handful of like kashi cereal, something with like a
Hmm.
little bit of sugar.
That
But
makes it worse.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that, Shant. You are pretty experienced in weightlifting and such, but first and foremost, do you fast and do you still lift weights?
Yeah. So I do fast, but I was always under the impression of like, I need to be fueled to lift heavy, right? But then I started
Carbs and
fat,
such? What are you talking
just
about?
fats, carbs, protein. You just have to be like ready, fueled, right? So, but then I started fasting. I've been fasting for, I don't know how long we've been talking about this. I could go, so I fast all, like I eat one meal a day, right? 6 p.m., whatever. And the key is to eat a good meal, right? There's some days where I slack. And it's like you're run like yesterday, terrible, terrible, right? I fasted all day. I worked out. So I'm feeling good. But my last meal, me and Betty were like, we left Leo with her parents, and we are just like out real quick. And we're like, oh, we saw Popeyes. We ate Popeyes. Terrible, terrible mistake, right?
Popeyes.
Yeah, just bad decisions, right? It happens.
Doesn't
Right?
sound like you guys.
No. We had a good plan, right? We had a plan. We were going to Costco. We were going to do this. And I was like, oh, Popeyes. And she's like, oh.
Let's give it a shot.
So today is going to be hard to work out fasted, right? Because I don't have good nutrients in my body right now. I have shit, legit shit. Shout out to you, Popeyes. So I used to be like, oh, I can't work out unless I am fueled, especially lifting heavy. But I'll fast all day. I'll go lift at like 1 p.m. midday, super heavy, like 2.5 plates, fucking benching by myself, no spot, nothing, just going really, really, really heavy. And then I'm fine. I still wait for a couple hours to eat, right? Like it's just, you don't really need it. It's in our minds that we kind of need fuel, right, to work out. But especially if you're doing high intensity training, I think it's good if you let the calories burn, and then you eat your whenever you're done fasting. But Joe Rogan talked about, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Joe Rogan podcast, but he's,
Bro, my cousins in Syria have heard of the Joe Rogan podcast. Fuck.
they don't even have internet. So
Yeah.
he talks about, he fasts all day too. But what he said is like, if he has a really, really super intense workout, because he does like jujitsu and shit in the mornings, he'll have like a nice fuel after the workout.
Does he talk about calories at all? Like how much he eats throughout, I guess, not just after the meal, but like throughout the day for
Well,
his...
he fasts, but he eats like elk meat, bison, like he's a fucking just true American, right?
That's
Like
crazy,
fucking,
man.
yeah. I'll send you the episode, the clip. It's like 10 minutes. He talks about fasting and stuff. So many benefits to fasting. He had a doctor on who was talking about fasting. But I think it's super easy to, once you get the hang of it, your body gets used to it, right? I think we tell ourselves we're hungry and we need food to operate, but you could just, as long as you have a good meal the day before, you could go throughout your workout. I take potassium pills at night, like banana, like stuff like that to get me through the day too.
So, question for you, Shant. As far as gains, like muscle gains, do you think, because you were fucking jacked, not that you're not jacked now, but you were more
Yeah, one of my early
into
20s. Yeah.
right. You were doing a lot more too, I bet, at that time. You're probably living in the gym at that time. But do you feel like you had more muscle mass then because of all the eating you were doing? And do you feel leaner now? Do you think that the fasting is attributing to a little bit more of a leaner sort of better conditioned operating? Because I heard, like, listen, the benefits of fasting are enormous. Like, I heard that not only does it, help out your weight loss or whatever you're trying to do on that end, but it also helps like reverse aging, reverse like cancer,
reverse.
tumor growth, all sorts of like crazy benefits. Do you feel like, though, as far as from a weightlifting perspective, it's not the most optimal?
Well, there's a lot involved, right? And I'm trying to pull something up here. So when I was in my early 20s, yeah, I was fucking eating whatever, right? And I was lifting super, super heavy, and I'll be super honest about it. So at that age, right, as young males, our testosterone levels are so high, right?
100%. Which is something I wanted to talk to you about after as well.
Well, and then as it's gotten as you get older. So right now, I checked my testosterone levels like 3-4 months ago. It was low. It was like in the 200s, right? And normal, what I was told, I'm trying to pull up what the normal is.
This is super interesting. You tested your testosterone at your doctor's, or did you order some sort of like kit?
No, my doctor.
I thought you fell prey to like a Instagram ad.
No.
Checked your hormones.
So it shows you should be between 400 and 600. But if you're trying to like my buddy, Gabe, right?
Yeah. He's been doing a lot.
Yeah, but so I asked him like, dude, and he's all natural. Like he's just like a natural. He's not taking anything. But like, I was like, dude, because I was like, mine's at like 2 something. I was like, dude, what's your testosterone level? He's like, oh, last time I got checked, it was like 1,000. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so he's just naturally just, operating at a more energy high level. So mine is super low. And that's why it's like, it's harder to go hard at the gym and lift heavy.
So, question for you: doing a lot of reading about testosterone. Do you think that has anything to do with lifestyle, scenery, mental, like thought processes, getting too comfortable, not being exposed to like new environment? Because Gabe, I'll be completely honest here, Gabe goes hard at the gym. I see his workouts.
I've worked out with him a bunch of times. It's fucking tough to keep up with that guy, man.
So obviously this probably does a lot to your mental, just like your anxiety. Like your anxiety is probably at the very beginning, you're probably through the roof. Like, I should be eating right now. Yo, I shouldn't be going this hard. Yo, like, you know what I mean? And that will obviously either slow you down or make you completely oblivious to all of that and completely get rid of all your anxieties, which, just FYI, from a lot of the reading and listening I've been doing, your anxiety could actually hinder testosterone.
Yeah. There's a lot of factors, right, that hinders it. But I think number one is probably genetics, right? And I think, and a lot of guys, like, I think are ashamed to talk about like low testosterone because it's like a manly thing. I have no problem saying that mine is, I mean, it's not super low. I think it's like a little below average. But my doctor was saying, and he's like a regular doctor. He's not like a Instagram, health doctor.
Testosterone doctor. Steroid doctor.
He's just an actual doctor. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. Like, like you're below average. You could sustain this. But he's like, you being a, business owner, you're always like operating. You try to lift a lot. You're always trying to like go. Right. He's like, you probably want to be at a higher level so you're not feeling tired throughout the day, because I started feeling tired a lot throughout my day. So he said there's a lot of ways to like try to get naturally your testosterone up, eating, right, diet. So he gave me some recommendations, and then lifting heavy legs like 2-3 times a week.
There you go. Yeah. That's what I
Um,
was. That's something that I don't do legs. I skip leg
leg
day
day.
like I skip ads on YouTube.
Yeah. So that's a huge thing, right? And then I started doing that, and then it did go up a bit, right? It did go up. I think it went up to like 300. So like it definitely worked, but it still wasn't to where I want to be. So and I'll tell everyone I don't care. I'm not like ashamed of it. I tell anyone. So I started taking testosterone. He recommended it under doctor supervision, right? And he's a legit doctor, again, not from south of the border here in Mexico, where I just go get a
Get a booster shot.
and it's really, 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 and it's like small doses. Like it's not like I'm juicing. It's not like a Jersey Shore shot, right? Like trying to like get jacked. It's not about anything like that. It's more trying to get my just production throughout my day, just feel a little bit more productive. And it's really been like awesome. So
Talk about that a little bit. I didn't know this. This is news to me. So you had your testosterone checked under the supervision of a doctor, had him prescribe more testosterone, which is completely normal. I'm telling you, I've been listening to a lot more about testosterone and why people in their 30s, like they started to get like random weight gain, they get a pouch, they get like little like man boobs. Estrogen is kicking in, testosterone's going down, probably your stress levels going up, hindering testosterone. People over 30 pay fucking attention to Shant right now. Let's talk a little bit about that, Shant. What were some of the side effects like? What was the whole testosterone therapy like?
So there's two ways you could take it. Well, he offered me two ways. The injection, right? And then there's like pellets where they put in you like little tablets, and then it dissolves in your body, so you don't have to do injections. But after speaking to a few people, people as well, and the more research I did, it's better to just you control it, because then with the pellets, it dissolves and like it's 6 months in you, and then it kind of like just spurts out, right, the testosterone, rather than like you being in control of it. I've had no side effects and my doctor wanted to keep it at a low level, right? As far as I'm taking 100 milliliters, 1 ml, 100 milligrams every 2 weeks, which is super low. And he's like, he doesn't want to like overdo it to like risk heart disease, right? Like, and because it could bring on heart attacks if you go like the people who are bodybuilders who are just juicing and going super heavy, they're prone to heart attacks because of it.
I saw a guy at the gym fall on the floor. 70-year-old guy goes to the gym for like 2 hours a day. I saw him on the fucking ground having a heart attack.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about right now. So can you tell us a little bit about the changes that brought on? What sort of changes you sort of experienced?
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy because obviously when I take it the first week, and we've tested, my doctor keeps testing me, just making sure like everything's okay. He's checking with my heart, he's checking with everything, just to like, it's very high supervision. The first week when I take it, my testosterone level is 700. So and then I'm operating that week and a half. I'm like feeling great. I'm sleeping good. I'm waking up better. Right. I have more energy throughout the day. I'm lifting heavier, like just able to go more. Right. Just overall more clear and focused. The second half of the second week, right, I start feeling a little lower, right? I start feeling less energetic. And then we've tested me at that point and my levels go down to 300.
What caused that drop?
So it's just because the testosterone that you take, it just lasts a certain amount of time. It's not going to be in
I see. So you didn't take it the second week.
Well, I take it every other week.
I see. I see. So at that point, he adjusted so that you take more or twice.
No, I'm still staying the same because we talked about it and he's like, dude, he's like, he doesn't want to do it too much, right? Because it's the heart attacks and stuff it's a big thing. So he wants to keep it low. He just wants to because even 400 is still really good. I just love operating at 700. It feels a lot better. But
That's
but
great.
yeah, there hasn't been any side effects, but I go to him every month or every other month just to it's been about 2 months now I've been doing it. I just feel a lot better, man. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there's like a stigma talking about it, right? For men, that, and by the way, we weren't even planning on talking about this.
I'm happy that we are though, because there's so much involved with this conversation. I wish that there could be a part. Maybe we could have a part two about this discussion. But Shant, man, like some of the things that you're talking about, I really feel. Do you feel like that these sort of symptoms that you're trying to correct came about after 30?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So do you think, not so much you personally, but do you think that stress and anxiety have something to do with it? Like in your 30s, you just experience a flood more of anxiety chemicals, just natural life chemicals that naturally reduce your testosterone? Like you're just constantly in a state of like so much happening that like you don't have the time to actually feel like a fucking the caveman that you actually are.
Well,
And
think about
just
it. Yeah, think about it. What happened in my early 30s? I started, a business, went on my own, which brings on a lot of stress.
move to Arizona.
Yeah, a lot of stress right there, right? And that kind of, and it's also genetics, man. I'm a big believer in, I think genetics, right? Because my doctor was saying, because like I was having a hard time losing some weight, right? And I was talking to him, and he's a cool doctor. But like, we sat, we talked, and I fast, I work out hard. He's like, yeah, you're just not losing weight as fast as other people would. He's like, you have to work twice as hard to lose a little bit of weight. My diet has to be perfect, right? If I have like one bad day, it's like it just goes off, right? And he's like, unfortunately, because where we come from, he's like, it's mostly our genetics that it makes it harder for us.
Was that rumbling Leo?
No,
No.
no, no.
Your doctor, let me ask you a question. Where's your doctor from? Is he just white,
He's
grew up in
Arab.
America? Oh, he's Arab. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's familiar. He
Yeah.
knows. So
He
he's saying
knows
that
the shit
people
we eat.
from Middle East, Armenia, sort of like the 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 area that we're from, they have a hard time sustaining a manly physique after age 30.
Well, yeah, I mean, um,
Like a
and also like,
muscle, not fat. You know what I
and I
mean?
gave him my family history too. Like, my dad's had heart attacks, and like everything. He puts all that into account, and goes off. Like my friend Ralph, like he's Armenian, right? He's out here, dude's fucking monster. He's 35, right? He owns a huge business, and he's just like freaking just fucking ripped and just huge.
Tank.
Yeah, he's a freaking tank. You know, and so like so it's still within your family genetics, I think, right? um so and unfortunately for our family, I mean, we're same family, but I think that has a lot to do with it, and we have to work harder to get to a normal level, and that's why he recommended it. And I think it's been nothing but awesome for me, at least as far as the results. It's not like, oh, I'm cheating, right? There's a stigma with like, oh, if you take testosterone, you're cheating. Like, I'm not fucking hitting home. I'm not playing professional sports here, right? Like,
It's not that you're cheating. It's just, you know what the issue is, Shant, is that it's like professional level advice. You know, a lot of doctors, to avoid major repercussions or major side effects, they'll tell you, yes, you need to go on a diet, you need to exercise, and the very, very last form of treatment, and probably the most effective, is testosterone therapy. And I just think that, like, listen, if you're doing everything right and you're not receiving back the results that you deserve, somebody should just come out flat out and tell you, you've probably got testosterone deficiency. You probably have too much stress, or you just don't have, you're not producing enough testosterone. You're running a little bit too much. You're not exercising your legs enough. You're not lifting enough. You're not doing enough fucking push-ups. You're not doing manly shit. Even if you're a
Yeah.
woman, you're not doing shit that raises your testosterone. I feel like somebody needed to tell me, yo, bro, you got to start hitting the fucking weights. Don't worry about the running.
Yeah.
Get your testosterone up. And
There's nothing better than lifting legs, bro. Like heavy, you feel so freaking and by the way, everyone, like,
what is
we're
it
not
about
giving,
legs, Shant? I don't
so I'll
understand.
tell
Why does
you.
that do with the testosterone?
So first things first, we are not medical. We're not giving any medical advice here. We're not professionals. We know jack shit about this stuff. Like
Personal
literally,
experience. Personal
like,
experience. No,
yeah,
no medical advice.
yeah, like zero. Like, don't listen to us. It's just what we're going through. So from my understanding is most of your testosterone it comes from like your legs or whatever, because that's the biggest muscle, right? So I think that's the reason that creates the most testosterone. So if you're working out your legs, not just doing fucking calf raises, right? Like you got fucking
Good exercise. It's a good one.
it's a good exercise. Do some leg press, do some squats, fucking deadlifts, like do some shit, like just go heavy. And once I started going heavier, you do feel a difference as far as like more energy and stuff like that. So I think if any guys are like feeling like they've hit a wall after 30, I think it's good to go get it checked out. Look at where your testosterone level. Any doctor should be able to do it. They do your blood work. So it's, I think it's a thing that we should all be conscious about, because women, like, I think they're more off estrogen or whatever, and I think they kind of monitor that stuff. I don't know. I would have to ask Betty, but but guys, we don't like talk about our testosterone levels. That's everything for us.
Yeah. I so happy that we brought this up, and I didn't know that. That's awesome that you've got some feedback as far as testosterone and testosterone therapy, and it's I don't think it's anything bad. I think it's good. I think that at age 30, if you're taking the necessary steps and sort of what's going on in you, that probably a lot of guys are going through and have fucking no clue, and they're just letting the man boobs just fucking grow and get wild, and instead of fucking fixing the problem, they're out there buying a custom made t-shirt that looks good on them to hide the problem. You know what I'm talking about, those
I see
ads.
those ads. I've
Yeah.
almost clicked. Yeah, I've clicked on a couple just to check them
Oh,
out.
nice.
But,
This is a nice shade of green.
yeah, but my only concern moving forward is like, how long do I need to be on testosterone? That's my next. I don't want to do this shit forever.
Well, question for you. So you said that you started doing legs and stuff like that at the gym, and you saw your testosterone go up, and then you started testosterone therapy. Do you think that you could have naturally kept your testosterone at a reasonable increase by doing harder workouts? Or do you just not want to have to sustain hard workouts? Do you feel like it's unnecessary for your life?
No. I love the hard leg workouts. It's super sustainable. It's just there was
How many
only
dads do you know that do that kind of shit though? I don't understand. Like I don't know many dads that do that. To be honest with you, I know a lot of dads. I know a lot of married guys with fucking bellies, with pouches. This is
yeah.
like a normal thing, bro. Even in other countries, even in Europe, like it's just normal.
Yeah, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to do that, right? Like
Yeah,
I
you don't
want
want
to.
to be normal. You don't want to be average. You probably despise the fact you probably don't even like the word,
Yeah.
the A word.
Yeah, like because the natural progression is like, you're in shape, in your 20s, right? And then 30 starts hitting, and then like you get family, kids, and then you kind of go off, right? Like I want to actually be where I'm more in shape being a parent and a father.
The
Like I want
example.
to, yeah, like I want to be actually like sicker as the years go on. That's just how, so I've been taking just a lot of pain, a lot of attention to that. Now, why I couldn't, so the leg thing was sustainable, but for me, after doing it for a while, it just seemed like there was only so much. I was capped still at like 300, 330 as far as testosterone, where it's like, yeah, it helped a lot, but it wasn't still where I want to be performing at. Cause my doctor was like, dude, he's like, that's fine in the 300s. He's like, that's still good. He's like, but how do you want to be performing at what kind of level? And he's like, I know you, he knows I'm a business guy and I try to run around a lot. I'm always out busy working. And he's like, you probably would want to be higher. And he's like, you need to be higher level because you're still so like, you're doing so much. And it's kind of like a little bit of a cheat code.
I love that.
Left, right, up, down, or whatever that's
Oh, yeah,
called.
back A, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so on that topic of having a doctor and like having somebody sort of examine it, I guess not every situation has sort of like a thing that's covered by health insurance. Sometimes you got to pay for certain things. I guess my question is like at what point do you find it reasonable to pay for a certain amount of like training? Like you could, instead of doing testosterone therapy, have a personal trainer that's just naturally trying to like design a system for you to have high testosterone, like paying an expert to sort of tell you, listen, you got to be eating this and this and this, like examining your micronutrient
Yeah, I had
needs.
me and Betty had one. We hired he's from Cleveland, Ohio. He was great, dude. Like,
Can you tell me how you justified paying for it? How much something like this costs?
I think it was about I want to say 200 a month, right? It was for meals and workouts, right? He just gave us a set of workouts, but the dude was really on point with. He asks a lot of questions, right? He's a personal trainer, a nutritionist, but like he has degrees and stuff. I think in that field, it's not like he's a doctor or anything, but he was super like in tune with your nutrition, right? So we'd send weekly pictures to him, right? Like, with, shirts off and everything. And he knows our genetics. He knows all this stuff. So he was giving me the right food. Like, so I'll give you an example. I was telling about how I'm feeling. He always asks like what you're feeling, give me every specific detail. And then he's like, you know what? You're low on magnesium. Go take magnesium. I'm like, okay. Right. Like, how do you know I'm low on magnesium? Right. It's a weird thing to say to someone. I go to the doctor. I was actually had a doctor's appointment the next day, and then they were getting stuff tested. My magnesium was super low.
But doesn't taking magnesium supplement? I heard taking magnesium supplements gives you like heavy diarrhea or something like that.
Oh, I don't know. I take it
Isn't that
every
true?
day. I haven't really experienced that. But so that's what he does. He looks at your body. He looks at the food, the fuel you need, like, and it's super. And that's like this was probably 2 years ago. a year and a half ago, that's when I was probably the most in shape, right? As far as just how I looked and felt. But the problem was it was just a lot of meals. It was 5 meals a day, sometimes 6 meals for me. That's why you'd see me getting up and cooking steak in the morning, right? Grilling and doing all this stuff. But it got to a point where it wasn't sustainable for me.
A lot of thinking, huh? It turned into a job.
Yeah. And that's why I like fasting, because I don't think about it, right? I just don't eat.
How did you justify paying a couple $100 a month at first? Was it
Yeah.
hard to justify?
No. So let me ask the people listening, how much do you spend on coffee a month?
I probably spent around like 300.
Yeah. And that's normal, right? People spend $5, $7. I mean, Starbucks has gotten more expensive, but say you spend $5 a day, right? That's like
Yeah,
minimum, right?
it's
Let's see.
150 a month. I spend about 10 per day on coffee.
Yeah. So that's like 100, $150 a month. And that's just for coffee, right? What else stupid shit are we spending on? So to me, it's like, me and Betty talked about it because she was on it too. It's like, how much is our health worth?
That's how much is your health worth?
It's worth whatever, man. Because, so 200 is not a lot in that sense. Now there's other options for cheaper and stuff like that. This was a guy that was just well recommended, but I thought it's definitely worth it. And to me, it's not just a trainer that's just going to stand with you and, okay, you're doing a good job, keep working, like do 1, 2, 3, that's great. The reason to get a trainer is someone to keep pushing you and motivate you to actually work out, because you go to the gym, you have your class, so that's a little bit different. But if you go to the gym to work out and you're just doing the same shit over and over, it's like a trainer's going to push you to just break that barrier, right? And go more. So to me, I think it's super worth it. We've been talking about getting a trainer now, kind of doing it together. And just if our schedules ever align, it's something we're definitely going to do.
You asked me a very, very interesting question. You said, how much is your health worth to you? My health is worth a lot to me. I'm with you on that. Like I'll spend money on my health, no problem. But the question behind that is how much of the information that you're paying for can be found out on your own.
100%.
Right? So it's almost like how much is my health worth to me is one question, but how much is this person's expertise worth to me is sort of what I have a hard time justifying until it's been proven. And at that point, like I'll even spend like double what it's worth because of how much I appreciate it. Now, my question, I guess, to you is when you're deciding sort of how much somebody is worth to you, when it comes to this stuff, first of all, you actually consider it, which is a big difference between me and you, Shant. You actually pay attention and you like look for these things. Somebody has to tell me in order for me to actually know about it. Like you, Shant, you took the initiative to ask your doctor about testosterone and this and that, and this is something that just sort of fell on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard about it and I started listening to it, and boom, I found the value in it. You, on the other hand, took proactive steps.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is like, how did you decide, okay, I am going to pay this guy to give me the information, and I trust that the money that I'm paying is going to be worth it?
Yeah.
What questions came up in your mind when you made that decision?
So I'll go back to your original question. It's going to tie into this question, right? You kind of brought up the point, why pay someone when I could figure out on my own, right? I could even give you his stuff right now.
Right.
Right? Like,
You could leak it.
I could give you the meal plan. I could give you the workouts, right? 100%. But the figuring out on your own, right? Let's talk about that. So you get up at 5 a.m. You go to bed at 9 p.m. in between, you're working, you're busy,
Right.
right? I'm busy. I'm trying to run a couple things. I got a kid now, trying to, do all these things. Do I really want to waste, not even waste, but do I want to spend my time trying to learn something? And can my time be spent better elsewhere? Right. So can you spend no time trying to figure out your health, pay someone who's a professional who knows their stuff, could tell you what to do, and you just do it within your day rather than you trying to figure it out. Am I doing it right? Okay, now I got to adjust this, that. Like you're watching YouTube videos when you could just be making YouTube videos. Right? So it's like,
very good point.
Is your time, right, worth looking all this stuff up and trying to decipher which, because if you start looking this stuff online, you're going to go through so many different routes of like, this makes sense. Oh, this one makes more sense. This is better. There's so many ways to go about health. So it's like, pay someone, tell you what to do it, and just worry about work. That's how I see it.
Okay, now second question for you. When you decide about your time, this is somewhat random of a question, just so I can make sense of how you're making sense of how to make sense of this. How do you decide what your time is worth? How do you make that calculation? How much you make divided by how many hours a week you work? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and obviously for us it's a little tough, right? Because our monthly goes up and down. We don't have a salary, right? Mm-hmm. So it's how much are we working? It's kind of hard to really gauge how much we work, right? But we could kind of sit back and figure out and see how much we're worth hourly, right? Let's say we're worth $50-$60 an hour.
And if you're going to spend like 8 hours a month figuring out all the shit and wasting money on base
$200 a month, it's like, and how I see it is like something like that is going to bring me more money, right? Because now you're going to be healthier, right? You're going to operate at a higher level, right? You're going to be clearer, sharper, more energetic throughout your day. So now you're going to actually make more money. And that's how I see it.
Agreed.
So I think it's for someone in our shoes, I think it's super worth it, man. I think for you, it's also telling your mind that I'm taking this shit seriously.
Very interesting, man. This is all. So I definitely am going to do legs this week. I'm not going to skip leg day.
Do twice a week if you can.
I'm going to try and do it 3 times a week. No joke. But I just don't know what to do. But last thing we can touch on before we get off this call. What leg exercises would you recommend as a professional bodybuilder, Shant?
I'm not a professional. So I split my legs in 2 days. Okay. I work legs out twice a week. Okay. So on Tuesdays, I work out my quad muscles. Okay. So it's 4 exercises of quads. And then I end with calves. Saturday, which was yesterday, I do hamstrings. It's 4 to 5 exercises of hamstrings with calves at the end. So it's like I break it up to quads and hamstrings.
What are your exercises?
So for quads, I do
or at least some main ones that you recommend.
So leg press. So I love the leg press. I'll do leg curls. I'll do lunges, and I mix it up. But then for quads, which is your hamstrings, I'll do deadlifts, reverse lunges, like with the sled. Sometimes I pull the sled. With the quads, I push the sled. The sled thing with the weights on it. You do that. Just
what about
deadlifts,
squats?
Huh? I do squats too. I forgot. Yeah, I kind of stopped recently with squats because it's been bothering my knee.
That's an issue. Yeah, I got fucked up knees.
So I've been kind of doing other things to like what feels a little bit better. So I've been kind of off squats a little bit, but that's obviously one of the best workouts you could do. So yeah, I mean, it's just look up best quad exercises for men. You'll find some good stuff.
I heard deadlifts are really, really good for just overall. Just want to throw that out there for your overall body. Do a lot of deadlifts.
Yeah. I see, and it kind of sucks because like see guys doing, even girls now, they're fucking crushing deadlifts, fucking like 5 plates on each side. I'm sitting there with like 2, right? I'm just like, my knee hurts.
Getting warmed up, guys.
Yeah. Today's my off day. Just over here, just kind of stretching, just stretch.
Recovering from an injury.
So never try to feel like shit, man. Don't compare yourself, because I go to a gym where it's called the Muscle Factory, and it's legit the Muscle Factory with like people going like just fucking shredded, jacked ass girls and guys, and they're pushing real weights, and I'm just like, you know,
can I get a spot, guys? That's awesome. That is great.
All right, that's all I got. I got to actually hit the gym now.
Attaboy. Yeah. I like it. Good talk, Shant.
Yeah, man. We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, we'll try to get on in the next few days or so and continue weekly episodes. Sorry, guys. A little bit confusing when to do this, but we're working on it.
We'll figure it out. I actually tried. It's a quick story. I don't know if you guys have heard of Patrick Bet David. I've been trying so hard to get him on our podcast.
Trying to get his attention.
So he had one day questions, like he put a thing on his like Instagram story, ask me any question, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right. I just started like hammering, like, hey, you want to come on our podcast? We're 2 Armenian. You know, he's Armenian. You know, he fucking happens to have his baby that day, so he doesn't answer any questions.
What the fuck?
But I've been trying, man. I have to. He has a podcast every Tuesday and Thursday on YouTube. It's live.
Wow.
So, Adi, if you're ever, he starts at, I think, 6 a.m. Listen to it. If you're on the YouTube, donate $10 and say, hey, can you come on our podcast? I've been trying, but it's super early for me.
Right. I think also because I have subscribers, I think it would promote
good.
my thing, comment a little bit.
Yeah. So work on that. Let's try to get him on the podcast, man.
That'd be awesome.
All right. Have a good day, Adi.
Even though it's fucking 10 a.m. there. Good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.